Welcome to the Nurture Network podcast, where motherhood meets transformation. I'm Jess Baldenhofer, certified parent coach, educator, and mom on a mission to help you move beyond overwhelm and create a deeper connection with your kids and yourself. Each episode is packed with real tools, relatable stories, and the support you deserve. Let's dive in and take another step toward the peaceful, fulfilling parenting journey you've been searching for. Hi, today we're going to talk about fostering independence in your children. I hope to empower you to nurture independence in your kids by building trust, teaching responsibility, and stepping back when necessary without feeling guilty. I'm Jess, a parent coach and educator with years of experience helping families build stronger connections and navigating the challenges of parenting. As a mom myself, I understand how hard it can be to balance fostering independence with the instinct to protect and guide. My goal today is to share insights and strategies that will make this journey a little easier for you. If we think about it for a second, really fostering independence with your child may be the number one hardest thing about being a parent. You have this little baby, they're completely, physically, and everything dependent on you. And little by little, you have to let them go, let them grow, let them separate, let them be independent, while also being there as this constant, safe, non-judgmental, supportive, and teaching presence. As I say it out loud, it just sounds so hard and so impossible to so many of us. But I think that when we think about the long game of letting our children really go and letting them be their own person out in the world, it feels really, really scary. But if we do it little by little in age-appropriate ways, not only do we foster independence in them and sort of let them feel that feeling of being independent and confident, we also help ourselves get a little bit more used to the idea of them being their own person. So as I say, fostering independence is one of those long game parenting goals. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process. The focus should be on learning essential life skills and building confidence and feeling safe to make mistakes. Let's reflect on your own experience as a child for a moment. How many of you, raise your hand, did not feel safe to make mistakes when you were a kid? How many of you were sort of unconsciously taught that mistakes are bad and they are not the place of learning? They are to be avoided. So we need to get comfortable watching our children make mistakes and really understand that mistakes are where learning happens. Incremental steps prepare your child to navigate life with resilience and self-assurance. Studies consistently show that fostering independence in children is critical for their long-term mental health and emotional well-being. Research highlights the children who are encouraged to take on age-appropriate responsibilities develop resilience and self-esteem. Conversely, children who aren't given opportunities to practice independence may have increased anxiety and a lack of confidence as they grow. In 2019, there was a study that was published in the Journal of Adolescence, and it revealed that children who are overprotected or micromanaged are more likely to struggle with decision-making and coping skills later in life. Those who are given room to explore, be messy, and problem-solve independently make mistakes, they develop stronger emotional regulation and a sense of accomplishment. Today, we'll explore how to nurture independence in practical ways while making a foundation of trust and safety in your relationship with your child. One thing I always emphasize to parents is that independence isn't a one-size-fits-all goal. It evolves as your child grows. Let's break it down by age with practical examples and common challenges. So, toddlerhood is where independence really begins. This is one of the reasons why toddlers are so challenging, because they go from being babies and being fully dependent to starting to very actively assert their independence, their own will, their own agenda. And also, toddlers are excellent at expressing their emotions that we might not always understand. Toddlers are naturally curious and eager to do things themselves. So let's encourage them. We can encourage them to pick out their own clothes, even if they're mismatched, put their toys away, or help set the table, attempt to feed themselves or pour water into a cup. And being there and being a supportive guide is really important in these circumstances. But facilitating these opportunities for them to try things on their own is what is really key at this age. And it takes a lot of patience for us as parents. It's hard. And when we watch them spill the milk, try to get it in the cup, we have to get ourselves comfortable with that discomfort of watching the milk get spilled so that they can really learn these motor skills and learn the confidence and independence to do these things themselves. They may even learn how to clean the milk up after they spill it. They may put their shoes on backwards, or they may take forever to do it. And you can pick and choose the times when you have a little time or a little extra patience for these things. So now we'll move on to elementary age children. And as these kids grow, their responsibilities can expand too. So some ideas are just encouraging them to pack their own backpack and lunch for school. They can complete chores like vacuuming or setting the table, and they should be taking initiative with their homework or asking for help only when they really need it. Some children need more support in different areas than others, and some can be given these gradual encouragements to take things on themselves. But this is also a good age for children to learn some natural consequences. Through this problem solving, for instance, if they forget their homework, guide them to reflect on how to handle the situation next time, or let them deal with a sort of natural consequence of that instead of trying to protect them from it. It's the same thing as spilling the milk, watching the children spill the milk instead of protecting from that. Let it happen a little bit, let them learn, and maybe even let them learn how to clean it up. So for teens, independence involves managing broader responsibilities. So you can encourage them to be fully in charge of their own homework. They can be in charge of their extracurricular activities without reminders. They can start learning a lot of budgeting skills and budget their own allowance, for example. And at this age, teenagers can really start advocating for themselves. Maybe it's emailing a teacher or scheduling a doctor's appointment. Every small step toward independence reinforces their confidence and equips them with life skills. And every amount of work that you do on yourself in terms of allowing them to, in a safe way, take on responsibilities, it will really benefit you both. So let's talk for a few minutes about the barriers to independence. These barriers often stem from our own fears and our own habits. So the first barrier I want to mention is our need for control and perfection. And some of this is our own sort of attachment to control, but some of it is, like I said earlier, shifting from this baby phase to toddler phase to elementary school phase, because we're so used to controlling everything when they're little. And unfortunately, society kind of promotes this. They promote this control over when babies are little, right? Like if you get the right crib, they'll sleep all night. If you get the right pacifier, they won't cry. If you do this and you do that, it makes you think that you can sort of control the outcomes of things. But really, parenting is not about control at all. As parents, we often strive for things to be done right or quickly, and this can lead us to take over tasks our children could manage themselves. For example, you might think it's faster if I pack their lunch or clean up the mess because it'll look better my way. But when we do this, we send the unintended message that our children aren't capable. Instead, embrace the idea that imperfection is part of parenting and part of life, and let the bed be made crooked or the sandwich be slightly messy. And these moments teach responsibility and capability. And again, I'm giving examples here. You have to choose the things that you can live with. Like maybe you really like everything being neat, and that's understandable. It's your home. But can you pick just a couple things that if your child was doing and doing imperfectly, that you could let it go a little bit? So the second barrier is balancing safety with independence. Safety concerns are really valid when it comes to our children. And this is kind of true their whole life. Safety just looks different, but they're often at the root of our hesitation to let go. While it's essential to ensure your child's safety, that is our job, fostering independence doesn't mean abandoning safeguards completely. For instance, using child-safe tools for tasks like cooking or encouraging bike riding in a supervised area, teaching them about boundaries, such as staying within sight or calling if plans change. One thing I always remember when my son was on the scooter, I just had this rule that if he could scoot ahead of me, but he always had to stop at the corner. So he really felt physically free and independent on the scooter, but he knows the boundaries of always needing to stop at the corner. Providing a safe framework gives them freedom to explore and feel free while ensuring their well-being. So the third barrier is fear of failure. It's hard to watch our kids struggle. This is not talked about enough, but failure is a necessary part of progress. And on the one hand, we don't want to watch our child fail. We love them and we want them to, achieve and do well in life. But also, it's hard for us to watch them fail because most of us, were given such a hard time about failing and making mistakes when we were kids. So we're not comfortable with our own mistakes and our own failing. And this makes it hard to watch. It's hard to watch them. If your child forgets their homework or spills something while learning to cook, use these as opportunities to teach resilience. Okay, no problem. What do we do now? How do we handle the situation? These moments help them develop problem-solving skills and emotional regulation. Stop for a moment and ask yourself how it feels for you when your child is trying but making a mess. In those moments, do you jump in? Do you revert to giving them tips through the experience? What would it feel like to just breathe and let it happen? Maybe even praise them for the effort and for trying. So the last barrier is kids' resistance. Sometimes kids resist taking on responsibilities because it's easier to let us do it. So now there are certain circumstances where your kid might ask for your help and you know that they might ask for help when they really are maybe a little old for what they're asking for and they shouldn't be asking for help doing that thing. But you also know that they're really tired and you know they're just having a hard time and they did 5 things leading up to that and it's okay to help them. It's not about never helping your child or making them feel like they can't come to you when they actually need help. But you can tell those moments when your child is just resisting taking on responsibility because they're so used to you doing something. So breaking this pattern does require patience and consistency, acknowledging their feelings, but definitely finding those few areas where you can encourage them to take the reins. For example, you can say, I know you're used to me doing this, but I'm confident you can handle it. You got this. And I'm going to help you in letting you do this because I know you can. So let's talk a little bit about how to foster independence in a daily practice. Remember that fostering independence requires keeping the long game in mind. It's all about creating a steady path towards self-sufficiency and confidence. This is not about dropping your kid in the deep end and having unrealistic expectations about what you want them to be able to do. But there are small areas where you know deep down, okay, I've been doing this for my child for so long, and I really think he's capable of this himself. And you can even ask, if you're not sure, you can ask the teacher and say, at this age, what's a normal responsibility at home? Should he be able to do all his homework by himself, or should I be supporting him? Get some guidance from other adults in your child's life to help you give some guidelines of where your child needs more independence and where they might need more support. So here are some strategies for incorporating independence into everyday life. Start small. Begin with manageable tasks. For toddlers, this might mean putting toys away. For teens, it could involve managing a personal budget and gradually increasing the complexity as they grow. And I would also say don't try to teach independence around 10 tasks at once. Pick 1, pick 2 that you're going to tackle and gradually work up to them doing something independently with a lot of praise. So number 2 is teaching them problem solving. When a problem arises, resist the urge to fix it immediately. Ask open-ended questions. What do you think we should do about this? How can we solve this together? This helps them develop critical thinking and problem solving skills. 3, build a foundation of trust. Trust is the cornerstone of every relationship, and it's a cornerstone of independence. When your child believes that you believe in their abilities, it strengthens their confidence and your relationship. So this is not about strong-arming or shaming your child into independence. This is about really trusting them and really letting them feel that trust and your confidence in them, because that will become their inner dialogue. Communicate your trust explicitly. I know you can handle this. You got this. So number 4, assign age-appropriate responsibilities. Again, this can be hard, but you can Google this or ask a teacher or a therapist. A preschooler can do things like help feed a pet or water a plant. A grade schooler can organize their school supplies. A teenager can manage their schedule or handle a larger family responsibility like grocery shopping. But there are ways of just making sure that what your expectations are for your child are age appropriate. And then the 5th thing is just modeling independence. Let your child see you managing your own tasks. For example, involve them in knowing how you plan your day or budget your expenses. Show them that independence is a lifelong skill. So letting go can feel really uncomfortable, but it's an essential part of parenting. And some of us have to sort of actively practice to not speak up when they're spilling the milk or not blame them or shame them in these moments, but really connect with yourself and understand how you're feeling in these moments so that you can separate how you're feeling from their experience. Find those moments where you can step back and allow your child to step up a little. Remind yourself that mistakes are opportunities for learning and development. Remind yourself that your child's ability to overcome challenges builds resilience and confidence. And remind yourself that providing a safe space for them to fail helps them learn to recover and adapt. Reframe guilt as a sign that you're helping your child become capable and confident. Trust in their potential and in your parenting. Okay, so let's recap. Fostering independence is about building trust and responsibility, starting small and teaching problem-solving skills, balancing safety with exploration, and letting go of guilt as we step back. Try to, as your child grows, really think about yourself as this lighthouse. You're strong, you're sturdy, you've got wisdom, you've got light, but you're also unmoving. You're there for your child to return to when they need support, when they need help, and you'll guide them and teach them. But you're not getting in the nitty-gritty of every single thing they do, especially as they get older. Ask yourself, what's one small thing that you can let go of today to encourage your child's independence? Each step builds their confidence and strengthens your bond. Thank you for joining me today. As a parent coach, I'm here to support you. If you have questions or stories to share, I'd love to hear them. Until next time, keep trusting yourself, keep trusting your child, and trust the process. Thanks for listening to the Nurture Network. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Share it with a fellow mom who might need it too. Until next time, remember that nurturing yourself is the first step in nurturing your family.